Claire set her suitcase down in the hallway and took a deep breath. The familiar smell of her mom's apartment, a mix of lavender, cinnamon, and old books, stirred a tangle of emotions, comfort and unease at once. 35 years old, and here she was, back in her childhood home, as if time had looped backward. "Claire, you're finally here." Susan Miller emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. "I made your favorite beef stew." Her mom enveloped her in a tight hug, and for a moment, Claire let herself sink into the familiar safety of her childhood. Then she pulled back, subtly reclaiming her space. "Thanks, Mom. I'm not really hungry right now. Maybe later?" Susan's face flickered, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Suit yourself. Don't say I didn't try to feed you." She tucked a green strand of hair behind her ear with a nervous gesture. "Your room's ready. I tidied up a bit." Tidied up, in her mom's vocabulary, could mean anything from light cleaning to a full overhaul of her belongings. A vague unease crept into her chest. "I could have cleaned it myself, Mom." "Oh, I just wanted to help." She waved a hand with exaggerated casualness. "After all that stress." She trailed off, but Claire heard the unspoken words. "After the divorce." Claire walked to her old room and froze in the doorway. It wasn't how she remembered it. Gone were the stacks of architecture magazines she'd saved for years. Her sketches, once pinned to the walls, had vanished. In their place hung family photos in shiny new frames. Her desk now held her mom's sewing machine. "Mom, where's my stuff? The magazines, the sketches?" Mom appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. "I packed them neatly in boxes, in the storage closet. Those peepers were so dusty, and you're only here for a bit, right?" She hesitated. "I thought you might want to try something new, to take your mind off things. Sewing's good for the nerves, you know." Claire silently counted to 10, tamping down her rising irritation. This is temporary, she reminded herself. Just a few months until she finds a new job and an apartment. She could handle it. "Mom, I'd like my things back, especially the magazines. I need them to prep for interviews." "Now?" Susan glanced at the clock with exaggerated surprise. "The stew's getting cold." "Fine, whatever you want." When her mom left, Claire sank onto the edge of the bed and buried her face in her hands. A familiar heaviness settled in her chest, the same feeling she'd had around her mother since her teens, as if her identity was shrinking, becoming smaller, less significant, as if she were 15 again, with her mom dictating her friends and her reading list. A month ago, when her marriage was crumbling, moving back home seemed like a lifeline. Now, she was starting to realize it might be a leap from the frying pan into the fire. The architecture firm felt like love at first sight. Modern, open, with high ceilings and streams of light. A stark contrast to her mom's cluttered apartment, where every inch was stuffed with knickknacks and old furniture. "We've got some big projects in the works," David, the lead architect, said as he showed her around the office. "Your portfolio's impressive, especially that historic district renovation project in Chicago." "Thanks," Claire said, blushing at the unexpected praise. "That was my master's thesis." "You can tell a pro when you see one," David said, his eyes crinkling with a warm smile. "When can you start?" "Tomorrow, if you need me." At home, Claire shared the news, expecting her mom to be thrilled. Instead, Susan frowned. "Is this place legit? It's weird they hired you so fast. Sounds fishy." "Mom, they saw my portfolio and liked my work," Claire said, feeling her excitement deflate like a punctured balloon. "Plus, they're on a tight deadline." "How much are they paying?" "Enough. I'll be able to afford an apartment in a couple of months." Susan's lips tightened. "So you're already planning to move out? What, you don't like it here?" "I do, but..." Claire faltered, searching for words. I'm 35, Mom. I'm used to living on my own. On your own, Susan scoffed. And where did that get you? Divorced. Here you have a home, someone to look after you. Let's not do this now, Claire said, standing from the table. I'm tired and need to rest. Big day tomorrow. In her room, she lay awake, replaying their conversation. Why did every talk with her mom turn into a subtle battle? Why couldn't her mom just be happy for her? It's just a couple of months, she told herself, staring at the ceiling. She'd manage. You're glowing today, Rachel said, eyeing Claire across the cafe table. Is the new job that exciting? It's not just the job. Oh, spill. Rachel leaned forward, intrigued. It's nothing major. My boss, David, he asked me out to dinner tonight. And you said yes? Rachel raised an eyebrow. Is this a date? I don't know, Claire admitted, her cheeks warming. Maybe. What about your no dating at work rule? I'm starting to think some rules are made to be broken, Claire said with a shrug, then added more seriously. Honestly, I haven't felt this free in a long time. He's easy to talk to. He values my ideas. And your mom? And Claire tensed instantly. What about her? She doesn't know, and I'm not planning to report every move to her. I'm 35, for crying out loud. You don't think you're overreacting a bit? Rachel said carefully. As a therapist, she often noticed things Claire would rather ignore. I was just asking. Sorry, it's just, you know my mom. I can't take a step without her commentary or advice. And now, living with her again, sometimes it feels like I'm drowning. Maybe you need to talk to her. Set clear boundaries. Easier said than done, Claire said with a bitter laugh. My mom and boundaries don't mix. Every talk ends with her in tears and me feeling guilty. Rachel studied her silently, and Claire squirmed under her professional gaze. What? She asked finally. Nothing. Just thinking that parent-child patterns tend to ripple into other parts of life. If you're saying my marriage fell apart because of her, I'm not saying anything, Rachel said gently, just reminding you that you're entitled to your own space and you owe it to yourself to protect it. Claire twirled her coffee mug thoughtfully. You know, I'm so used to pleasing others that sometimes I don't even know what I want. That's why you need to practice saying no, even to your mom, especially to your mom. Rachel's words echoed in Claire's mind as she walked home. Learn to say no. It sounded simple. In practice, it felt nearly impossible. Dinner with David was exactly what she needed. Easy conversation, laughter, no pressure. He shared stories of his travels. She talked about her favorite projects. When he walked her to her building, Claire felt, for the first time in ages, like a woman, not just someone's daughter or ex-wife. Thanks for tonight, David said, standing by the entrance. I haven't had this much fun in a while. Same here, Claire smiled. Their kiss was soft, unhurried, so right that it made her head spin. See you tomorrow, he whispered as they parted. Claire climbed the stairs, her body buzzing with lightness, as if something long compressed inside her was finally unfurling. The apartment was lit up. Of course, her mom was still awake. It's almost midnight, Susan said instead of a greeting, appearing in the hallway. I was worried. I texted you I'd be late, Claire said, slipping off her shoes and avoiding her mom's gaze. Her lips still held the warmth of David's kiss, and somehow she felt her mom would see it. You said you were having dinner with colleagues, and you come back this late? Susan glanced pointedly at the clock, and so flushed. Claire closed her eyes for a moment, gathering herself. She remembered Rachel's advice about boundaries. Mom, I'm 35. I don't have to report where I am or who I'm with. Susan recoiled as if slapped. So that's how it's going to be? You live here,
eat my food and I can't even ask a question? It's not about that, Claire said wearily. I just need some personal space. Personal space, Susan repeated, as if the phrase were scandalous. Is that something you picked up from your ex or in the city? Claire felt a headache brewing. I'm exhausted, Mom. Can we talk tomorrow? But Susan pressed on, as if she hadn't heard her. I gave my whole life to you. My whole life. And now I can't even ask where you're out till all hours? It's not all hours, Mom. It's just... And who were you with? That boss of yours? Susan's lips tightened. You think I don't notice how you get all dolled up for work? Claire froze. How did her mom know about David? She'd never... Did you read my texts? Claire asked quietly, a chill spreading through her. Susan looked away. Your phone was buzzing. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something important. The floor seemed to drop out from under Claire. She brushed past her mom, went to her room, and shut the door. Leaning against it, she slid to the floor, hugging her knees. Her personal space, violated again, just like in childhood when her mom read her diary, or in her teens when she eavesdropped on phone calls. Nothing had changed, and it wouldn't, unless Claire made it change. The next day, Claire called several realtors. Finding an apartment, any apartment, even a tiny one, went from a want to a necessity. You have no idea how drained I am, she told Rachel over the phone, locked in the bathroom so her mom couldn't overhear. She read my text yesterday. Can you believe that? That's a serious boundary violation, Rachel said in her therapist voice. What's your plan? Move out as soon as possible. At the office, Claire tried to focus on work, but her thoughts kept drifting to the situation at home. David noticed her distraction. Everything okay? You seem out of it today. Sorry, I rubbed my temples. Family stuff. He perched on the edge of her desk. Want to talk?
Claire sighed. I'm living with my mom temporarily, post-divorce, and she doesn't really respect my boundaries. Sorry, that sounds like a line from a self-help book. No, I get it, David said seriously. My mom was the same. Read my letters as a kid, listened in on my calls as a teen. I moved out at 18 and never lived with her again. Really? Claire looked at him, surprised. How's your relationship with her now? Much better, he said with a smile. Distance works wonders. I love her, but she only lets me be myself from afar. Be myself. The simple phrase hit Claire like a pang. When was the last time she was truly herself? Not a daughter, not a wife, not a colleague, just Claire with her own desires and dreams. I'm looking for an apartment, but it's tough. My budget's tight, and there aren't many options. I know a realtor, David said, pulling out his phone. I can send you his contact. He finds places that aren't listed publicly. That evening, Claire came home later than usual after viewing a small but cozy studio near work with the realtor. It was a bit over budget, but worth it. Susan met her in the hallway. Late again? Her tone carried a barely veiled reproach. Yeah, I had things to do. Claire headed to the kitchen for a glass of water. What's for dinner? Didn't you already eat with your boss? Susan crossed her arms. Mom, can we talk seriously? I'm always serious, Claire. I found an apartment near work. I'm moving out soon. Susan paled. What? So soon? Why? Because I need my own space, Claire said firmly, meeting her mom's eyes. I appreciate your care, but I need independence. Independence? Susan threw up her hands. And I'm stopping you from being independent? Me, who's given you everything? Mom, I cut in. You read my texts, you go through my things, you track when I come home. That's not independence. I worry, Susan's voice cracked. After everything you've been through with that... She didn't finish, but Claire knew she meant her ex-husband.
I'll be fine, Claire said softly. Really, I just need space to figure myself out. Susan's face twisted. Space? What about me? You're leaving me alone in this empty apartment? Her voice rose. Have you thought about your mother? Claire felt the familiar guilt welling up, heavy and consuming, but this time something else stirred alongside it. Quiet, persistent anger. Mom, I'm not abandoning you. I'm just moving to my own place. I'll visit, I'll call. Like your cousin Kevin called his mom before she passed, once a month? Susan referenced Claire's cousin, notorious for his rare family visits. I did everything for you, and you... Mom, I'm grateful for everything, but I'm an adult with my own life. I need you to respect that. Respect? Susan gave a bitter laugh. What about respecting my feelings, my loneliness? Or don't you care? Of course I care, but no buts, Susan snapped. I see where this is going. That boss of yours has you wrapped around your finger, taking advantage of you when you're vulnerable post-divorce. Claire was stunned. What does David have to do with this? This is my decision. David, Susan spat the name like it was a curse. You think I don't see what's happening? He'll use you and leave you, and I'll be left picking up the pieces, as always. Claire's face burned with shame, anger, and helplessness. Mom, this is my life, my relationships. Your life, Susan's voice rose. Some life. At 35, divorced, no kids, bouncing from place to place. Something inside Claire snapped, like the final thread tying her to the need to please, to be the good daughter, broke with a quiet ping. Enough, she said, raising a hand to stop her mom's tirade. I'm moving out next week. End of discussion. Susan stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. Who are you? She whispered. My Claire would never... That's the point, Mom. I'm not your Claire. I'm me, and I have the right to my own choices. She left the kitchen, her mom's sobs echoing behind her, raw, accusing. Claire locked herself in her room and pressed her forehead against the cool window pane. Her mom cried on the other side of the wall, but for the first time in years, Claire didn't rush to comfort, apologize, or back down. Something new was stirring inside her, fragile but strong. The realization that caring for herself wasn't selfish, that setting boundaries was an act of self-love, without which love for others was impossible. She grabbed her phone and texted David, I'm taking the apartment, starting tomorrow. The days before the move turned into a cold war. Susan stopped speaking to Claire, instead heaving dramatic sighs and casting mournful glances. Each one struck Claire's most vulnerable spots, but she held firm. David helped with the move, arranged movers, lent his car. When he pulled up to the building on moving day, Susan saw him for the first time. So that's your boss, she said, peering out the window at the tall man unloading boxes from his trunk. Claire said nothing, continuing to pack books. And you're leaving your mother for him, Susan went on. I'm not leaving you, Mom, and I'm not moving out for him. I'm doing it for me. For you, Susan mimicked. All you think about is yourself. Who's going to think about me? Claire set the books down and faced her mom. Mom, my whole life, I've thought about others. You, my ex, my colleagues, always trying to meet someone else's expectations. And where did that get me? Divorced, depressed, lost? Maybe it's time I think about myself too. So it's my fault your marriage failed? I forced you to marry him? No, Mom, it's not your fault. No one's to blame. I didn't know what I wanted. I was always trying to be convenient, obedient, and I lost myself in the process. The doorbell rang. Claire went to answer, but her mom's voice followed her into the hallway. Or maybe you're just selfish, Claire. Maybe you don't care about anyone but yourself. Claire froze, hand on the doorknob. Anger, hurt, and pain churned inside her. She turned slowly. "You really think that, Mom?" "What else am I supposed to think?" Susan crossed her arms. "You had a family, you had me, and now you're leaving with him." She nodded toward the door where David waited. "His name is David, Mom, and he's not the reason." "Of course not. Just a coincidence you're moving out now that he's in the picture." Claire took a deep breath. "Mom, I'm moving out because you don't respect my space, because I feel like a teenager here, not a grown woman, because I'm suffocating under your overprotection."
Overprotection? Susan bristled. That's what you call a mother's love now? It's not love, Mom, Claire said quietly. It's control. Susan's face crumpled. How dare you? After everything I've done for you? The doorbell rang again, more insistently. Claire opened it and David stood there, sensing the tension immediately. Everything okay? He asked. No, Claire said honestly, but it will be. Susan glared at them with open disdain. So this is it? You're running off with some guy? Mom! Claire's cheeks burned with embarrassment. Stop it, please! Stop what? Telling the truth? That you're abandoning your own mother for… I'm not abandoning you. I just want to live my own life. Your own life, she mocked. Without the mother who raised you, educated you, gave you everything? David shifted awkwardly. Should I wait downstairs? No. Claire grabbed his hand. Stay. We're almost done. Susan shot them a scathing look. Go ahead. Cling to him. You think he's in it for the long haul? Men like him use you and leave. David tensed but stayed silent. Claire felt a surge of pure, unclouded anger. This wasn't just a fight with her mom anymore. It was a battle for her right to be herself. Mom, enough, she said, her voice taut. I'm leaving, and it's not about David. It's about me not being able to live by your rules anymore. I can't keep meeting your expectations. I can't be your perfect daughter. And who do you want to be? She snapped, eyes flicking to David. A lonely divorcee or his fling? Something inside Claire broke for good. You don't let me be me. And the words rang like a bell in the sudden silence. My whole life, you've tried to mold me into someone else. Your obedient daughter, the perfect wife, an extension of you. I just want to be myself. Don't you get it? Myself. Susan froze, as if struck. Her face contorted, her lips trembling. I only wanted what's best for you, she whispered. I know, Mom, Claire said, her anger giving way to exhaustion. I know, but best for me isn't the same as best for you. She turned to David. Help me with the last boxes, please. As they left with the last load, Susan stood in the doorway, small and hunched. In that moment, Claire saw her not as a villain or a tyrant, but as a lonely, frightened woman whose love was warped by fear of loss. I'll call tonight, Mom, she said, pausing on the stairwell, and I'll visit this weekend. Susan nodded, eyes downcast. As they descended, Claire felt a strange mix of emotions: regret, relief, anxiety, hope. She knew the road ahead would be long and messy, not just to a new life, but to a new relationship with her mom. One built on respect, not dependence. You okay? David asked as they got into the car. Claire glanced at her mom's apartment windows. A familiar silhouette flickered in one. I will be, she said. We both will. The car pulled away, carrying her toward a fresh start. She didn't know what lay ahead, but for the first time in years, she felt truly free to be herself. Her phone lit up with a text from Rachel. How'd it go? Claire smiled and typed back, Tough, but I did it. Finally learning to be me.